Good morning, everyone. Lou Weiss, Manufacturing Talk Radio, All Metals and Forge Group, and a mess of other podcasts and monthly series that you see behind me. When the show is over, you'll be able to see the other shows, or maybe I can even just lean over a little bit. But anyway, our guest is here today, and our guest is Robin Fleming from an organization called Anvil, which is kind of interesting in that in my business, All Metals and Forge, we do use an anvil for forging. So let me bring her into the show. Here we go. Robin.
There's that yellow jacket. I'm so excited.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good.
And everyone, this is Robin Fleming from Anvil. So you're almost in the forging business just like I am.
Well, yes, exactly. That's why we named the company Anvil.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us today. We have a lot of shows regarding solutions to manufacturing companies, and obviously there's a lot of solutions out there to help companies improve efficiency, production, downtime, uptime, 24-hour shifts, and so on. So why don't you give us a little insight into what Anvil does, except get beat up by a hammer?
Well, so, we started about 3 years ago, really focused on how we could develop a connected worker solution that frontline workers and supervisors would actually use. And so our goal with Anvil is to really, help companies go from paper, spreadsheets, maybe ad hoc in some cases, or the 5 or 6 different tools that don't work today or aren't used, and really help them move the needle by providing a guided solution for frontline workers. So we do that with a mobile application and a pretty robust platform in the background that makes sense of the data.
So your plan and idea and business model did not come as a result of COVID, but I'm sure it certainly had a major effect during these 16, 17 months of COVID, particularly with the frontline people, the workers, the blue collar and or white coat people that do manufacturing, and their managers. Am I correct?
Yeah, for sure. I think, a lot of companies, well, none of us were anticipating that we were going to have a pandemic.
Right.
And, as a result, I think a lot of companies were faced with, gaps in solutions, or, their managers weren't even on the floor. So it was hard to get access to data. So that's really proven, I think, to be a tailwind for really, companies thinking about how to better connect workers, how to engage them, how to capture data when, if it's paper and spreadsheets, that becomes really hard, during a pandemic when you're not digital. So yeah, we definitely are seeing and hearing, if they didn't address it during COVID, they're certainly thinking about, connecting workers at this point and moving the needle for Industry 4.0.
Well, not only the fact that you don't have as many workers.
Well, that's true too.
And you have a lower birth rate level. So going decades into the future, which some of you will be doing, I don't know about me, you need to prepare for the future. And like you say, it's a paperless You like the Paperless Society. Well, I'm one of those that I still have paper. So that being said, you wind up having a lot of extra desk space when you go paperless. So tell us a little bit further about what the program is capable of doing, time in constructing a system that works, and also, more just as importantly, the companies that you are directed to and marketing to, are they small, medium, large, gargantuan? You know, who's your base? Who's your program used by?
Yeah. Well, first, I actually want to just expand a little bit on kind of your point about, Paperless Society, because, that's part of why, we built Anvil, is because, we do have an aging workforce, and the younger workforce coming in, they have certain expectations. This is a workforce that, was born with a smartphone in their hand. They're used to being connected. They're used to getting information. And so when they come into a company and they don't find that, that tends to be an issue in regarding, employee engagement. And, there's some stats, pretty compelling stats out there, that show that nearly 60% of the workforce is not engaged. So I do think, if you're not thinking about digital transformation, or you're not thinking about it for a front line, you really need to start thinking about that. And we believe a good way to do that is with mobile. So with regard to our capabilities, we've built a really flexible product. We've started with really a heavy focus on safety, thinking about how do we move the needle for safety in a different way. It's not about, trying to tell someone how to be safe. It's about helping them be safe in the moment. So our whole solution is workflow based instead of a form filler. We partner with our companies, which tend to be in the manufacturing space, and it's any size. We have really small construction companies that leverage our solution for their supervisors. We have energy companies. We have manufacturing companies using our solution for really kind of supply chain. Kind of from and especially we've appealed for field and loan workers.
So just for clarity's sake, the product that you're developed and solution you've developed is really not a C-suite product. It's the front line. And therein lies a difference, because we have not seen a company that is dealing with the efficiencies and productivity at that level. It's always at the manager and up.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really, what we set out to do differently, because if you look across an organization, there will be every kind of technology platform you can imagine, whether it is, a manufacturing execution system, marketing solutions, CRM, whatever that supplier relationship management solutions. But you don't find a lot for the front line. The frontline workers and supervisors have really been overlooked. So that's really what we focus on. And we believe it's time, and it's not hard. It's not really hard to put a solution in the hands of a worker that helps them with safety or quality or being operationally efficient. And so that's what we help companies do.
So do you get any of the pushback and I'm too old and I'm not going to learn new stuff. I like paper. Do you get much of that?
We do see some of that, but we typically have pretty good conversion with even, that worker who might be a day away from retirement, depending on the mood. If you think about, over 80 to 90% of, adults in the US have some sort of mobile technology. And that's why we went mobile first, because it's easy. There's less friction. Folks are used to it. It really makes adoption easy. But we also designed the software before we built any code. We really did a lot of research, and we continue to do that with frontline workers and frontline supervisors to make sure that our solution is easy to use. On average, I would say it takes 20 to 40 minutes for someone to be trained and actually
Really?
start using the product and be effective. We've made it that easy. And we expect to continue to make it easy and keep that as a core tenet of our company.
Well, that's certainly a strong sales point to in regard to training, because training employees have always been a difficult and sometimes long drawn out process, and not unjustifiably, but nonetheless it can be long and drawn out. So that's really terrific. Do you get any of the feeling from the users that this could be a job replacement?
No, the thing that we're focused on is we're really not trying to automate to the extent, where we eliminate a person or human interaction. Our whole goal as a company is about making that human interaction, the kind of that last mile, better. So, and we believe we help companies collect that data from the smartest people in the room, which are those frontline workers. We even have the ability to do sentiment analysis. We've got natural language processing, because no matter what process you build, whether it's operational, quality, or safety, the constructs of those processes aren't really conducive to taking information and the learning from frontline workers. So we do that with text fields. We support voice to text. They can type in information as well. And we do natural language processing to really look at trends that are coming directly from, the voice of the worker. And also to look, probably more importantly, at negative sentiment analysis, where are there issues that management may not even know about because people don't speak up. So those are things that we feel are really important. And by capturing that data and providing that to leaders, that becomes really valuable information.
I would think it also would be extremely helpful if, in fact, you do have an employee, for whatever reason, leaves the company, that you're not losing that tribal intellect, and it's all there. It's in your digital solution. Is
yeah,
that
that's true. That resonates. And, when you think of not only when someone leaves, is it important to share information? It's important to share information while they're there.
Yeah.
And that's something we've built a lot of features and functionality so that, if your first shift and second shift is coming on, you can share information, with your coworkers. If someone's going to be off that day, you want to look at what they did yesterday. We have the capability for you to view that. And then the other piece that we think is important, and we continue to lean in on features, we've just released some features, is the ability to communicate within the application. So we've always had the ability for workers to kind of raise their hand at any point and escalate an issue. It may not be critical, but it may be something they want to let their manager know. And then we have new in-app communication. So you could talk live in real time and have a conversation, not meant to be chit chat about, the baseball game. It's meant to be about context of work. And then all of that is in a repository. So, if you got a quality audit, you got OSHA on site, you're doing an ISO audit, whatever that might be, you have all that information in one place.
Wow, that's terrific. That's terrific. Your tool, is it based on a lease, an annual purchase? How does that work?
Yeah, so we typically do annual deals with our customers. We like to start with an initial project, and we do that via a collaborative process, which we call a solution assessment, to really figure out, are we a match? Can we really solve for an important need? And that's something we do. We don't charge for that. We do that, really in collaboration to understand needs. And then we typically, a lot of companies want to kick the tires. They want to try it out. We like to do that as well because, for every single customer that we have, every customer's expanded, either by the users have expanded or, leadership has said, hey, we want more data. Let's do more with Anvil. So we like to start small, let our customers kick the tire. We're a bit flexible on the pricing model. we have the ability to, have some volume-based pricing if you're going to go big enterprise, which we do. If you need just one particular workflow implemented, we could do that. We see that with things like behavior-based safety programs, where you want really unlimited users because you want to capture the data, but it really is about the workflow that we would implement.
So you're presenting a very flexible and sounding like an easy way to get not only involved, but to get involved and see if there's hopefully true solutions to my scenario.
Yes, we really like to, we're not trying to be a company that's mysterious about how do what can we solve? We want to really expose that up front and be highly collaborative about what we can solve and actually prove it. So in our pilots, we like processes that are high use that potentially could be used by lots of people. So we're not afraid of the challenge. We really would like to have our customers really kind of kick those tires in a fair amount of detail.
Why don't you give our listeners your contact information?
Sure.
And so they can reach out to you, because this sounds more interesting on a different level than some of the other solution providers that we've had, and Lord knows there's a ton of them. We had Ericsson Corporation on a few days ago. We were talking with one of the head managers in the Stockholm facility, and naturally their product, their solutions are building these large four-wall solutions where you don't have to go on the internet. You have your own thing, but no one pays attention to the little guy, and us little guys represent 85% of the market. So to that extent, why don't you give us the information?
Yeah, for sure. The company is Anvil, ANVL.com. And my contact information, you could email me directly. It's Robin, ROBIN, at Anvil.com. Love to hear feedback. I would say too, we really love to just have conversations with, companies that are interested in moving the needle. They may not be ready yet, but we're continuing to do market research and understand how can we be better? How can we move the needle to really collect that data and provide the best solution for frontline workers and supervisors? So I'm happy to take a conversation just to hear what you're thinking or hear about experiences. So
I have an expression that I use around the ranch here. If it can do this, can it do that? And to that extent, I never get to the end, because we keep on making improvements and so on and so forth. But wait a minute, if it can do that, can it do the other?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know how that evolves.
I do. I think if your company's not built on that evolution and really that agile continuous improvement, which is really the backbone of what we're trying to help companies do, then you're kind of missing the boat. You always want to improve, and you always want to listen and learn. And as I said, the smartest people, often in a company are, frontline workers. They understand really what's wrong. They understand how to improve it. They want to be productive. They want technology and tools. And so we would, we're big proponents on their behalf to try to provide the right kind of solution.
That's terrific. And I could think of a whole bunch of my All Metal and Forge group customers who are manufacturing companies, and they have people problems and they have solution problems.
Yeah,
I'd like to be able to help promote that to some of our other areas, and perhaps we can talk about that
sure
offline. So
yeah, I'd love to.
We can do that. I really enjoyed having you on. I appreciate it. Do you have any parting comments before we wrap up this segment?
I would say, maybe one recommendation to anyone who's thinking about digital transformation. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a huge project. Probably the most important thing when you think about frontline workers is just to start. And you could start with a pilot. I think you'll be surprised potentially, even with union workers and, workers in really tough environments who don't have time. They come around to technology really quickly. And so I would say start small, and if nothing else, start.
That's a good point. Just start. Robin, thank you very much for being with us today. I truly appreciate it. If any new things come up along the way into the future, new concepts, new this, new that, please let us know, and we'd be happy to have you on the show again.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Farewell.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The audience, I'm here. I have this new background, which was done by accident. So I'm going to do a walk-off so that you can see all of what we do and our shows, our 4 podcasts, our 3 monthly series. I think 3, no, it's 2. And we're working on a 3rd one. So I will bid you adieu, and thank you very much for listening to us and watching us today. Thank you all.